Hello and welcome back to Podcasting as Praxis. I'm David, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm Jamie, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm Rob, mine are he and him.
And I'm Alistair, pronouns also he and him.
What are we doing?
Stuff and things.
Oh.
I got a fucking
It's
DM.
content.
I got a DM from Rob this afternoon because I started the notes and I started doing the first nugget and then I went down a fucking rabbit hole with it and I thought, you know what, I'm going to keep this one a secret just to surprise everyone. So I cut that out and then 2 hours later I put it in my own document. And then 2 hours later, I get a fucking DM from Rob going, what the fuck are these notes? And it's just a screenshot of a blank document apart from the words, it's nugget time, baby. And I was like, oh yeah, forgot about that.
Anyway, welcome back to the home of consummate professionalism that is this podcast.
It's a news roundup, baby.
That's right.
Yeah.
Beige dinner. Nothing but nuggets.
Nothing but nuggets.
Yeah. Exactly. Nothing but delicious snacks.
Uh-huh.
And at the top of the running order tonight, it's the thing that's on everyone's lips from Westminster to John O'Groats. It is the Mortal Kombat MP.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on everybody's lips. It's on one person's fists. It's fucking everywhere. Mike. Crowds are gathering outside television shops, looking at the screens to see the Mortal Kombat MP rip out the spine of one innocent constituent.
Yeah.
So
I remember why we agreed to not
that
record 2 episodes in one night.
Is it fair to say that this occurred on the bridge stage, or is that...
So for anyone who isn't aware, Mike Amesbury MP, MP for Runcorn and Helsby, Labour MP, was caught banged to rights
on camera,
from multiple
on a procession of cameras.
Yeah. Like from
Caught
multiple
in 4K, 4K, 2K, Full HD, and 360p.
Is that the correct term? It's like a flock of birds and a procession of cameras. Is that?
Yeah.
Mike Amesbury.
It's a tunnel, actually.
Punched. first of all, punched a constituent rather. After a quoting this heated argument about. And we love it when it's about a topic like this. A local bridge toll increase.
The first thing that came out was a video of him punching a guy, and he then reported himself to the police and claimed he'd been threatened, and it was self-defense. And then video came out from a different angle that showed that the guy he punched was standing with his hands in his pockets, and as far as anyone could tell, they were just having a conversation. Then the MP sucker punches him, and then when the guy falls down, runs over and just starts putting the boot in and punching him in the head while he's on the ground.
I'm sure it will please everyone to know that I have the rather short statement that he released in front of me.
Oh, cool.
Last night I was involved in an incident that took place after I felt threatened following an evening out with friends. This morning I contacted Cheshire Police myself to report what happened. I will not be making any further public comment, but will of course cooperate with any inquiries if required by Cheshire Police.
Mm-hmm.
Heated gamer moment.
Yeah.
We're back.
Heated elected representative moment.
Yes, exactly.
Actually, in the original Heated Gamer moment, there was a bridge involved in that.
That's true.
That
is true. We all remember
That's entirely true. Yeah.
So
also, I like the euphemism of an evening out with friends, i.e., I was fucking pissed out of my tree.
Well, apparently, so this happened in the early hours of the Saturday morning. So on the Friday evening, by the sounds of it, that he being Mike Amesbury, had attended a local meeting about improving community safety.
Community safety for MPs, surely, about how we need to keep more constituents away from the people they vote for, because otherwise terrible things might happen.
Could you imagine how much mileage all of your uwu small bean MPs who consistently vote for not stop enabling genocide would get if this guy had actually threatened or even started this like altercation, if you like. It would just go on for like kick off another one of these insanely tedious debates about the safety of MPs, which yes is a real issue. Obviously, with how many MPs is it recently? Like, is it 2 or 3? I can't remember. That have been killed, sitting MPs that have been killed by far right radicals. Anyway, the thing that one of the things that stood out to me about this was what Wes Streeting, one of the things Wes Streeting said in response. He said, "I am shocked and I also feel really sad because this is not something I would have expected from Mike." The tone of which makes it fairly clear, I think, that Mike Amesbury is not one of the persona non grata who were also suspended, but for example, voting against the winter fuel allowance cut. Mike Amesbury has since all these multiple camera angles in an Asda of these two beating the shit out of each other with shaky cam, but been suspended. So
it's really funny to have your suspension filmed in the same way that the RoboCop dick shot was.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned this on Twitter before. It's like, oh, okay, so now West Reading is of the variety. It was like, oh no, we need to there's a process and we need to let the police investigate, and I won't be making any further comment. And it's like, oh, that's funny. I remember when somebody recommended, they read an interesting interview in a magazine that was ground to like turf them, out of the shadow cabinet and then, deny them a seat, a part in the Labour Party. But no, because as long as you're in the right group or, you're a slum landlord, who apparently also managed like a children's home where kids like regularly went missing, or at least was the owner of.
That is a separate MP, to be fair. That's not my case.
Yeah, I know, but no, but it's the same thing that like what you were just saying. It's like,
yes.
Okay, as long as you vote the right way and you're in with the right clique, then you can just do whatever the fuck you want, and you're just covered by like, oh no, there's a process, and we have to wait for the results, and hopefully those results take many months before And then the news cycle's moved on. No, it's fucking disgusting, and it's like it's so. Apart from that, this guy is just like, I don't know. Maybe don't go around punching people. It's just like, oh, okay, now you can just do whatever the fuck you want. Fill your boots with sponsorship, get some free tickets, do whatever the fuck you want. Maybe punch a guy in the street, and then we'll just go, oh no, he's really nice and he's got a dog. It's like, yeah, all right.
Do you want to hear more about the bridge?
Yeah, right. So
God, yes, I really want to learn more about the bridge, actually.
So this is from The Guardian. The two men had been rowing about the temporary closure of Sutton Weaver Swing Bridge that connects Frodsham with the village of Sutton Weaver and is due for substantial repair works, a witness told The Times. The bridge was due to be closed for several weeks.
Those places aren't real.
I'm sorry, it is Britain and it is, unfortunately, very real. The article continues. The bridge was due to be closed for several weeks in January and March, leading to a 20-mile detour for some local people, which Amesbury had previously called unacceptable. Though the planned closure is on hold and is scheduled to move to the half-term holidays to limit disruption, it remains extremely contentious locally, evidently.
Look, I'm not, so I'm not an engineer, and this is, there are other podcasts that handle that kind of material much better than we do, but isn't it good to like do maintenance on a bridge, like because of what happens if you don't do that?
Walk.
No, an inconvenience to a car driver is an inconvenience to all.
Yeah, true.
Yes, this is true.
This is the principle that the Labour Party was founded upon.
Yes.
It is also interesting to note that he was actually a 2017 intake MP. Not particularly outspoken, as far as I can remember, with regards to Jeremy Corbyn's tenure, but it clearly he's rubbed some people the right way, because I don't think he would be getting this. Well, there was another Labour advisor, Matthew Torbett, which is a hell of a name.
That's a name you can only. I think that's a name they assign you. Like once you become a Labour operative, that's like a
Matthew.
cover.
Wasn't Matthew Torbett one of the Angry Beavers?
That's what happens when you order Sooty's Handler off Wish.
For as long as there's been a Labour Party, there has been a Matthew Torbett.
But yeah, so Matthew Torbett spoke to GB News and said, I know Mike quite well. And when I heard the news on Saturday morning, I was devastated, to be honest with you, because I cannot put into words how out of character this is. He's gentle, he's very kind, he's very laid back. I spoke to him over the weekend. I won't divulge private conversations. From what I can gather from other people, there was a sustained wind-up, a personal attack that evening by said individual in the videos. He's probably ruined his life in one semi-drunken decision.
Yeah, I mean, he's not as laid back as the constituent was, so I probably that.
Why is he quoting what he can gather from other people if he spoke to Mike directly?
Because he won't divulge private conversations, which is very unlike a Labour right-winger.
I know.
Yeah, he's just channeling essentially what he's saying is essentially is that Mike Amesbury is the bully XL of MPs. According to their owners, they're lovely and they wouldn't hurt a fly.
Yeah.
It is just I mean, anyone who's listened to this podcast for longer than a few weeks will probably have worked out that we like to stick the boot into the Labour Party. So it is once again very nice to see them one of their very best fucking things up in a political environment where Keir Starmer has plunged something like 50 points.
It's going well.
Opinion polls since the election.
Yeah, the last time a Labour MP punched someone, Jeremy Corbyn became leader. So, I look forward to this somehow bringing Stalin back from the fucking grave.
Oh, that's reminded me of was it the 2017 election actually, where a Labour staffer was accused of punching a journalist. And then
outside the hospital.
No, it was an aid to Matt Hancock or Jeremy Hunt, and it wasn't a punch. Like the guy was on his bicycle and just literally cycled into an elbow.
Oh but everyone reported it as he'd been attacked by vile Corbynites outside a hospital.
But then 3 hours later, the video came out, whereas this time the video came out first, which made it a little bit harder to tell that particular story.
So the timeline is 2011, Labour MP punches someone. Good things end up happening a few years down the line. 2017, Labour aide does not punch someone. Bad things happen down the line. 2024, Labour MP punches someone. I'll leave you to draw your own conclusions.
Yeah, the lesson here is that anyone who said stay and fight was not being literal enough.
Right, that's it for the Mortal Kombat MP.
Right.
Do we want to do a brief spell of beef?
Yeah, go.
Oh,
yeah. Right, so Donald Trump held Madison Square Garden's second Nazi rally over the weekend. And the warm-up act was some fucking dipshit you've never heard of who was apparently a comedian. And he came out and just did a bunch of racist jokes about Hispanic people. And caused quite a stir, you know what I mean? They were all absolute fucking, as you would expect, absolutely fucking witless as fuck, these supposed jokes. And it's caused all kinds of outrage. But one person who's not outraged is Jon Stewart of The Daily Show, the liberal sweetheart that he is.
Oh, okay. Are we ready to restore sanity once again?
He apparently... you know what I mean? He apparently worked with the guy on some stuff, I guess, because they both did shows on Comedy Central at one point. But the guy Tony Hinchcliffe, I think his name is, he had a Netflix special in 2016 and then a YouTube special in 2020. If anyone's wondering about his career trajectory.
Oh, yeah, but no one bad has ever had a Netflix special.
I know. But Jon Stewart said that basically, people shouldn't be outraged, and if anyone's to blame, it's the Republicans for booking him, because he's a roast comic. So roasting, people and islands and nations and entire races is just what he does. You know what I mean? It's just you wind him up and off he goes. If you're not familiar with roast comedy, it's basically it's a form of comedy where you make light of the fact that Rob Lowe filmed a teenager having sex. the same sort of vibe as you would make fun of your mate for spilling his pint in the pub,
Yeah. But then you do it on a special, and then the person sits in the audience and laughs.
Everyone has a
consequences.
good laugh about that fucking 16-year-old that Rob Lowe filmed having sex.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I hope the entire country of Puerto Rico does a spit take on the cunt.
Yeah. No, it's just what else do you expect from liberalism and, quite frankly, from Jon Stewart in particular? But just go fuck yourself. Before we move on to the next thing, this is not airing beef, but this is something not at all worrying that I've literally just seen before we started recording. I haven't read it, but I'm just going to give you the headline. This is from Air and Space Forces magazine, because we have to remember that the US and the UK, I think, have a Space Force now. I'll just quote you the headline, because this is all I've read so far. AI will enhance nuclear command and control, says the boss of Strategic Command. So the head of the nuclear program, the American nuclear program.
Sweet.
Okay.
Can't wait.
Cool.
Yeah. So we are straight up just doing what if Skynet was shit?
Yes.
At least if you've got a bunch of GIs who are high on LSD in your nuclear silos, you could, in theory, hold them accountable at some point. Not so much this.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, the computer will be held accountable enough when it kills everyone and there's no one left to fucking funnel infinite water and burning rainforests into its big fucking chute.
Maybe someone should try funneling LSD into the AI and see what happens. Maybe it'll make
it's already hallucinating.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't really need help hallucinating. Oh, for fuck's sake, though. This is, Anyway, that's good news, and I look forward to the future. But anyway, in matters closer to home, one of the other main things that's happened this week that's just been, kind of driving me insane is the cap on fares for buses outside London is going to rise from £2 to £3 in the budget. We're recording on Tuesday. The budget's coming out tomorrow, so on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I think London, I know, has its own system for bus and bus fares, so it doesn't count in London.
Theirs is based on inflation or something, isn't it?
Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to look into
Probably.
it. I didn't, because this is a podcast, and what am I? Some kind of research person. And this is essentially, well, if you believe the Labour Party, which you never should, this is essentially because the damn Tories had only funded this program to the end of this year, 2024, and Labour has looked behind the sofa, and there are simply no more pound coins to give it, and that I'm afraid that means that bus fares, especially in rural communities where there isn't much in the first place, just simply have to go up.
Why would Gordon Brown do this?
Well, it's actually not even a Gordon Brown thing. It's genuinely, this is a very rare, good Tory policy, which they introduced back in 2022. You remember that brief period where we were allowed to talk about the cost of living crisis as a little treat for a little bit before we were not allowed to
I
talk
remember
about
when
that
it was
anymore.
actually a crisis and not just a natural fact of life that we all had to make difficult decisions about.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I almost shouldn't need to say this, but a 50% rise in bus fares will obviously hit mainly the poorest people in society the hardest, because the people with assets,
it's fine.
especially
Everyone's
in the
wages
UK,
went up by 50%. It's fine.
Oh, have they? Oh, that's good news. I didn't know about that.
Everyone's wages,
Awesome.
50% rise. All good, all covered. Factored in. Smart economics from Rachel Reeves.
Oh, well, okay. Well, then, I'm going to stop talking. We're done here now.
Yeah,
No,
did you not hear it in the budget that was announced 2 days ago? Sorry, maybe that's a pessimistic guess on when this episode gets released, but
yeah, we don't know what's in the budget yet, so that's why we're not talking about it.
Yeah. So, but like apparently, and this is according, I read the press release from the government, stating all this. It is important for bus fares to go up because that would be fair to the taxpayer who don't use buses, I think.
Yeah, no taxpayer. So no taxpayer has ever taken a bus to get to a job where they pay tax on the income.
I think any person who pays tax, if they see a bus, they simply die.
I fucking hate.
I like the Jeremy Clarkson inflection there. It was used.
I fucking hate the constant, growth. We're a growth government. We're a government that goes for growth. I mean, which is just a whole sack of shit, obviously. And you got literally any kind of investment in getting more people on buses, trains, getting people to work, getting people to have more ability to actually live a life that is productive, even under capitalism, like under its own terms, is just so.
But have you considered that as well as being like, shrieking neoliberal freaks, these people are all absolutely fucking terrible at the job they claim to do?
Well, they genuinely just love making people miserable.
I will take
like
that
this
matter
is
under advisement, Jamie.
That is the only conclusion you can be left to draw after having, cursorily looked at any of the shit that these cunts have done in the last 4 months, let alone like all the shit they've said over the previous 15 years.
Yeah, it's fucking insanity. Like, I mean, buses. Apart from everything else, buses are good for the everything. Like buses, we did whole episodes on why buses are good. For connected people.
Okay, but have you considered? If you get on a bus, you might see a poor person.
Would I have to sit next to the one?
Possibly.
You might.
Okay, now then, fuck them. Let's burn them all to the ground. But, she even on like, Alistair, you were just saying like growth. Like if the price of buses is low, and that means that people can circulate and go to other towns to, like, I don't know, maybe do some shopping or see some friends and go to the pub. But it just increases the circulation of money, which is the thing that you do with the growth. That's how you get it. That's like, this is fundamental. This is like just
money. If money's circulating, then it's not going to like, someone's mate's pocket. So
yeah, you can
see the dilemma they're in.
Yeah, the ideal economy is two working people stood next to each other, passing a £5 note between them, but with some guy sat on a massive Smaug-like hoard, taking a small tear off of that fiver every time they pass it between the two of them. If we don't have the Smaug-like hoard, then we can't have an economy.
It's true.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I think what none of you have taken into account is this situation with the 50% rise in fares could be way worse. Because, like, the same press release spends a lot of time saying, well, what if we just completely remove the cap and then the bus prices went to like a tenner? And that would be worse. So why don't you think about that for a little bit?
Yeah, imagine if
instead of whining.
Imagine if we increased the price on rural bus route fares by like 500%. I'm sure that's good for people to do literally anything other than maybe afford to get to their job.
Yeah, well, these cunts do this shit all the time with the fucking trains anyway. Like, yeah, sure, the bus has gone up by £1. How many fucking pounds does a train ticket go up by every fucking time they raise it?
Yeah, every 6 months. It's just, yeah.
Like, fuck off.
Well, I mean, you have to pay for
use
the station
in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Ugh.
No, it's fucking bullshit. And also, like, to be clear, this pot of money, and we'll get into how much it is in a second, but like, just goes into subsidizing extortionate fees. Like, you're just throwing money down the hole of First Bus and Express Bus and whichever other privatized bus company there is. Like, if it went to if they said, well, we're putting it up by £1, so I don't know, next year or in 2 years we can buy 5,000 buses for the whole country and have a nationalized bus service, I'd be like, that sucks, but at least I'm getting something in return. But no, you give it to First Bus and they give it to the Cayman Islands.
Oh yeah, I assume everyone saw the fucking dog shit line that came out ahead of the budget saying, look, I know we're being a pile of stinking cunts to everyone right about now, but wait until 2029, then maybe you'll get a single crump of good policy.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not elect us again, please.
Well, the policy will be like, elect us again, because we had to spend 5 years beating you into a pulp. But if you elect us again, then, the nice things, you remember we promised them to you? They're definitely checks in the post. It's coming. The other line is
if you re-elect us in 2029, we will extinguish the Channel Islands, which I assume will be on fire by that point.
It's amazing how powerful a research agreement can be. We send America Jonathan Ashworth to tell people, be weird about trans folk, and they send us, just make hollow promises. That'll get you re-elected. It definitely works. Just ask Clinton. No, not that one. The other one.
Yeah. So the point of all of this, apart from the sheer love of cruelty, is that we need to make savings. You remember the fiscal black hole we're in that currently stands somewhere between 22 billion and 100 billion. I'm not quite sure, but that's a significant difference in the numbers. And apparently we need to raise these rates because whole, and it needs to be filled with the pounds. So I read a bit about this story in the Financial Times, quoted the Financial Times. It is unclear what savings the rise in the cap will deliver. So we're not really sure how much this 50% rise can save. There'll be something.
Yeah, but it's the kind of policy that it sounds like the kind of policy you would do if you were wanting to appear like a hard-nosed mathematician able to make the economy good again in the eyes of fucking Treasury Office fucking freaks.
Yeah. So, I read the government press release, and it says that this new cap at £3 will be funded by 150 million, not billion, million, worth of taxation, but only for next year. We get to do this again by the end of next year. So let's assume that in January 26, it'll go up to £4. But my question is so if the cap at £3 costs 150 million, which is less than peanuts on the government budget, then how much was it at £2? I don't know, 250, 300 max? It can't have been more than that, right?
Disregarding even that, because again, that's fucking pocket change to a government, especially a fucking British government. You have a cap, ergo, you have the power, legally, to set prices. You also have the option to simply not subsidise it at all. Fuck them. And if they can't operate a business at that level, just buy them. All of that stuff is quite clearly there. If you can do price setting, then you have complete control over that market, and there's nothing any cunt can do about it. So there's nothing to stop businesses failing. Oh no, boo-hoo, who gives a fuck? Nationalise the cunts and just get on with it.
No. So I don't know. Let's be generous and say that if this thing didn't go up by £1, it under £2 it costs 300 million, double the money. I don't think it is, but let's just throw that number at it for funsies. So the savings, from putting it up by 50% might be 150 million, being very generous. I read Phil Burton Cartledge, recent guest. He had a blog post about this, and he said the savings were at £50 million. So this number, which is anywhere between 50 and 150 million pounds, will surely plug the black hole, which is anywhere between 22 and 100 billion.
Yeah, the black hole, which is a reasonable
policy. Yeah, it's very real. It's entirely real. I could see it from my window. I'm surprised you can't.
It's so real that we've been told, I don't know how many times, how many different numbers it is at once.
Yes.
I love to have quantum fucking debt.
Obviously, look, the point of all of this isn't to save money or plug the hole in the finances or, be responsible or whatever the fuck. It is, and I'm riffing a bit from Phil Burton Cartledge here, but it's triangulation. What you're doing is, and we'll return to this issue, I think, in the next episode, is on the one day you talk about, landlords need to pay more and people who own shares in asset and property, aren't workers, which is correct.
Yeah, and then you get like 4 million miles of column inches dedicated to how landlords are the true working class.
Yeah, and then you do a U-turn.
But then, and then you do a U-turn. But like then the next day, like in the minds, this is I'm channeling the mind of Labour advisor Matthew Torbett. Is what you do is the next day you announce, look, we're taking some money away from rich people, and then the next day, therefore, logically, you must announce that you're also taking money away from poor people because that means you're a centrist.
Mm-hmm.
This is and if I was reminded of the old episode we did when we read the Jess Phillips book. She talked about literally saying you should be in government if you're not willing to make the hard decisions to that the job of an MP is always to like cut from everybody at the same time, and this is literally just that. Despite
the goal
polling done,
the goal of a centre left ostensibly government is to just cut yourself into an anarcho-capitalist state. Yeah.
I mean, can't possibly go any wrong. So, like, apart from the fact that, they did some polling about this and, like, 54% of Labour voters and even 60% of Tory voters think that, like, raising this cap is a shit idea. So, like, but this is the hard choices. You have to make people angry.
This is how you know it's the perfectly triangulated policy, because it fucking everyone hates it. Every single person hates it. Like you've got some of the, honestly, some of the best fucking cope I have ever seen is people who are completely, up to the hilt for Starmer's Labour, saying things like it's actually sensible government to be extremely unpopular, to do the difficult things that need to be done, and it's shit like awful dog shit like this. It's not even like the Tories bring in like just by like presumably briefly entering like Bizarro World and deciding to do a good policy, and you go, that's horrendous. We're going to not only not just abolish it completely, so this is a conversation we only have once. We're going to increase it now, and then in a year we're going to have this exact same fucking conversation again, where everyone's going to be reminded of how much they fucking hated it in the first place. Just incredible politics.
You can announce some other politics that maybe you're going to take like a very slightly small chipped penny off some fucking landlord, and then you do this
Rob,
again. It's just triangulation. And then everybody nods and says, wow, God, that's so sensible.
Rob, it's just occurred to me that political parties tend to get more popular while they're in government. So I'm sure Labour will be laughing in my face when this conversation comes up again.
They should.
And not for the usual reasons.
For saying so. Yeah. I mean, look, so apart from this, which is shitty enough, the bigger question that's going to be, and we'll find out tomorrow on the budget, is whether Labour keeps the thing that I think this started by the Tories, which is called the Bus Service Improvement Plan, which is basically the central government is funding a whole bunch of councils from like financially supporting rural bus services from shrinking any further. It's not nationalisation. It's not the council owning the bus service. It's literally just a bung again to First Bus and whoever else. But like, it's a very vital component for like rural areas to keep their bus services from dying. And if that gets cut, then like it doesn't even matter if you're now paying £3. Depending on where you live, but if you live in the countryside, there may literally not be any more buses by the start of next year. So, that's the bigger thing that we have to keep our eye out on. But yeah, so like that's I just to round it off, because like we were talking about the quote from Labour earlier in the day. This is the other one that I wanted to mention in this context as well. Apparently, this is a quote from Starmer today saying, "Nobody wants higher taxes, just like nobody wants public spending, but we have to be realistic."
What?
It's like, no. Yeah.
What?
Nobody wants public spending.
Tory voters have like a majority.
And Caps don't want public spending.
A massive majority of Tory voters want higher public spending. It's like 69%. Yes, very nice, etc. Like, Who is this for? Don't worry, I know who it's really for.
I mean, it's just
it's for the worst psychos you ever met while you're at university.
It's for Rachel Reeves and other professionals from that sector being complaints teams. Is that going to fucking actually hit tomorrow? Like, that would be so fucking good if it hits on budget day.
I would love that very much. Yeah, I mean, you know, we can but hope, but it's like, no, but people, you know, the only people who hate public spending are like the psychopaths that we regularly feature in Common or Commentariat. Everybody else understands that, like, any modern state socialist or capitalist,
anyone who spends the majority of their time outside of SW1.
Yeah.
Anyway, that will even have people in the fucking Adam Smith Institute kind of tugging at their collar going, like, it's so insane a thing to fucking say. Like, there is no branch of reality which is founded on anything static that thinks, yeah, that makes total sense. No one would want public spending. The job of the government is to collect tax, and then that's it.
Burn it.
No more.
I mean, you want Captain ANCAP? Because this is how you get fucking Captain ANCAP. Whilst we're on the topic of paying peanuts for things and things that will probably be in tomorrow's budget, I saw a tweet from the Labour Party the other day, which is how you know that it's real.
I'm so sorry.
They're investing once again in breakfast clubs, which are an unalloyed good. You know, you remember Marcus Rashford feeding hungry kids, all that jazz, you know, that it's important for kids who are food insecure to get some food before they learn, because otherwise that doesn't go so well.
I remember.
And, you know, that stuff, basically.
I don't remember that. I remember Labour 100% being the ones leading the charge on that shit and not getting roundly fucking owned by a football player at politics.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, that was the sensible politics of then. This is the sensible politics of now. So Labour is going to... I'm proud to announce that Labour's going to do, a thing. And according to the, badly designed graphic I saw, they are investing in breakfast clubs, which is good. It's going to be a whole £30 million for 1 year, starting next year.
Ooh.
And how many children can Britain have, hungry ones?
Don't know.
3? Actually, no, I do know the number because
cost, Michael.
Well, I had a quick look because I was curious about these things. The total of kids that are like, this is not even all school kids. I looked at the government statistic for like
kids.
Not all school kids. Sorry, not all school kids.
Old school kids will remember this. Food.
Remember when the dinner ladies were funded?
Yeah, it's the worst fucking Will Ferrell movie yet. No, Jesus Christ, lost my fucking thread of thought. So yeah, like I said, it's not even like all school children. It's there are 2.1 million school kids in the UK that are like get free school meals. I don't know. That's means tested, I assume, but there's like 2.1 million.
Yeah.
So if this is £30 million divided by 2.1 million school children, that's just a hair under £15 per child, and I assume that's 30 million for a year. So how much can one breakfast cost? I simply ask.
It's the economy of scale. 14... You know what I mean? Like you can get an infinite amount of cornflakes when you're buying them for like an infinite amount of children. So for like it's for zero money or something.
Well, I mean, because every time we talk about food insecurity, realistically, what do
you want the government to do? Nationalize sausages?
No. Because I don't. I would, but then I remember that I don't like public spending, Jamie. So that is simply out of the question. But yeah, so like if it's £14.30 per eligible child, if this 30 billion is real, divided by 12 months, because kids need to eat, every day. That's like £1 and couple pence per month, 20 school days a month. Let's just take out holidays for a moment. That's like 5p a day to feed a hungry child. I think that's very reasonable. And, I'm often reminded by, every time we have this discussion, by, cunts on Twitter and in the opinion pages that, a bag of oats only costs 60p, and, they used to go scrumping in the orchard for free. So, I think I think we're done here.
I listen. If you can make your dinner for 30p or whatever that cunt said, I'm sure you can do breakfast at 5. That should be fine.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I mean, look, because I also assume that
give every child an oat.
Yeah, you get an oat in the post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
give a child
don't worry about
you
it.
Feed them for a nanosecond. Teach your child to oat.
Yeah. I would simply plant the oat so I could get the oat tree.
That's something else.
So why doesn't the Department of Education simply open a packet of Oreos and tip them on the floor?
Yeah, because then, like, the children who want it the most will simply, claw their way to them, and then we'll, it's natural selection. It'll work great by way of fucking Oreos. But yeah, if this all sounds a little low, there's also going to be a £7 million trial, which may or may not be included in this 30. I can't quite work it out, but let's say it's on top. Let's be generous. And they've also announced, like I said, a £7 million trial on breakfast clubs, just to see if they work, because we're never really sure if
we're never
really
sure if
food,
we're never really sure if we feed children if it's good or not.
Yeah,
science is yet to get back to us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in this new age of digital-led NHS, I think we need to let the same people who do that weight loss drug. Why don't we get them to run the hungry children test as well? Because they know about weight. We'll just do it the other way around too. But the good news is there's going to be this £7 million trial. It is going to be in 750 schools, though. So again,
that's not
me being
money
me
per school, is it?
No, it's about £9,300 per school, actually.
Okay.
Awesome. I don't know what the going rate is, like, salary wise of someone who cooks, dinner ladies or whatever we call them now.
Well, if it's just breakfast, that's presumably part time. So
yeah, I think most dinner lady jobs are like technically part time.
Yeah, so
all right, so
time.
Yeah, so £9,300 per trial school. Let's say let's do it over 10 months. Let's say 2 months for holidays and stuff. So that's £930 a month. That's probably enough to, we can get the dinner lady, but then no food. So, do we?
Well, they can buy the food out of their salary, presumably. I mean, the bus journey to and from the school isn't going to be that expensive. And
no, that's true. You're right.
Frankly, who isn't going to want to do that job? It's a morning only thing. So you can get up early, you can walk to the school to save on bus fare, hand out an oat to each child, and then you've got the rest of your day free to go and be harassed by the job centre because you're not making enough money from your part-time job. The system works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can spend £3 for the privilege of getting £6 even on if you include the return journey for the privilege of getting yelled at for not from your part-time job.
But hey, I had a quick look at the Labour manifesto of this very election of this year. They did promise 315 million. Yeah, which is more. The 315 is more than 30 or 7, I think, or 37 even.
I mean, there are in fact many 30s and 7s inside of the number 300.
Exactly. I mean, I haven't checked my abacus, but I think that's how that works. So I read a little bit of the
It's
the
extremely Rob coded to just have a little abacus.
as a treat, I had a little abacus, yeah. And
To be fair, abacus.com though.
yeah. Shit. 1 second, let me see if that's real. I mean, surely somebody claimed it. Is it?
Everyone is Googling abacus.com right now.
I'm not. Couldn't give a
Oh
fuck.
shit! It's just some kind of expense reporting horse.
Current abacus
That's not
user,
fun.
click to log in below. It's not what I want though. Closing that tab.
So yeah, like the IFS did some numbers.
Remember when the internet was
Foxing
good
on
and you didn't have to give the abacus your email address?
yeah. Like, my next business is I'm gonna sell abacus as a service. I think it's got legs. You know, or I could put you on an installment plan where I send you a bead every month, and then a wooden frame at the end.
Oh, who says British colonialism is dead?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like I said, the 350 million pounds seemed a bit more realistic. And then I read a piece by the Institute for Fiscal Studies, you know, not known for being generous, and they said that like 315 would be about sufficient to do like a bare bones food only breakfast club for like the kids who might take it up, because not everybody who's offered breakfast club takes it. But if you wanted to turn into like an actual social thing where instead of, you know, you eating a dry piece of toast behind your desk because there's nobody else there, and you know it's very stigmatizing and awful for the child, if you wanted to turn into like an actual social thing where like a teacher is present, or you know somebody from the school to, you know, make sure that the kids who get breakfast at the school instead of at home don't feel bad about it, that would cost, according to the IFS, about 650 million. But hey, we're getting 30 or 7 or 37. That's, I don't know.
Right.
Enjoy your oats,
But-
kids.
How is there no one present at the breakfast club? Like, are the children just left alone?
With the,
Is that-
with the
is there not
Oreos
someone
on the floor,
there?
yeah.
I mean, it is what the IFS calls.
safeguarding?
I think essentially what that would be is that, like, I don't know, you would I don't know, get a plastic baggie with like a slice of bread and some cheese and, I don't know, an apple if you're very lucky, but you would just get it at your desk when school starts or something. I think that's what they mean.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
I mean, my understanding of breakfast clubs is they're a thing that essentially runs just before school starts, and there's like adults present dishing out like,
Yeah.
you know, toast and
There's
cereal
not
and
teachers. Yeah, there's not teachers in the canteen at lunchtime because they want to be there. Like, they're there for a specific purpose.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but this essentially, if the math or the numbers, at least from the IFS, are like it would cost about 650 million, which still seems quite low to me, quite frankly, if there are 2.1
I mean,
million
like,
hungry kids in the UK. But
It's another one. It's another one of those things where if a government decided it wanted to do literally anything about any of the poly crises that we are facing, this is like one of those home run slam dunks that just has such an enormous payoff in terms of defeating poverty, defeating like all the various diseases that were previously eradicated prior to like the austerity of the 2010s that have, you know, re-emerged, for fucking, as we have been saying this whole time, for fucking peanuts. And again, another thing that also becomes cheaper the more people you get to do it. The more kids you have turning up to a fucking breakfast club, the economies of scale of the state doing things once again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the key element, like, if you're trying to appeal to the government, which obviously we're not, because what a fucking pointless job that would be, but this is a slam dunk in an optics way as well.
Yeah,
Like, feeding hungry children is just straight up like, yeah, okay, no one can hate that
But
policy.
I don't want to feed children. I want to cause cancer.
Yeah. And I was just briefly reminded, I don't know, maybe in context or without, that, you know, last week was the announcement that Britain's going to give 22 billion for fucking carbon capture and use, which is the most disgusting thing.
Yeah. It's going to be so good at that. People will like ship their own carbon from around the globe in planes.
2.5% of that, or would it even be 2.5%? It'd be like
less.
0.25% of that going towards feeding children, and yeah,
£22 billion is also one of the numbers of the black hole. So fuck it. Like,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Just do that and then fund things, you fucking pricks.
yeah.
Have we considered
is
just
Rachel
taking
Reeves
the
going to
funding-
turn? Is Rachel Reeves going to turn into Jim Carrey in that one film?
Have we considered just taking the budget black hole and putting it in a carbon storage site, and then we just keep the black hole there, and then we need never bother ourselves about it ever again?
Have we considered throwing the carbon into the black hole? That seems like a win-win.
Yeah, maybe it turns out there's oats in there. Yeah, because then with the pressure of like shoving the black hole in there, then from our disused oil wells, oats will simply spout forth, and then all will be well. The children will be saved.
Yeah, can children be sustained on Hawking radiation?
Now
Science does not have an answer.
Now that's just a ludicrous Google, frankly, David.
Yeah, well, keep them guessing,
What did the AI say about that?
The AI didn't tell me anything about it, actually, unfortunately.
The AI is
first
currently
results I
too
got
busy.
on Reddit, though, which is basically indistinguishable.
Mm-hmm.
AI is currently too busy rearranging the American nuclear strategy. It'll be back to answer these vital questions in but a short moment. Anyway, shall we talk about some utter horseshit instead? Because Hi, this is Rob. I'm disturbing your delightful in-ear entertainment to tell you that we have a Patreon at patreon.com/praxiscast. You can go there for more episodes, our Discord, bonus clips, and much, much more. This is also me begging you for your money in exchange for goods and services. Thank you. Oh, very well then. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Get ourselves some snacks. Bye.
So, what you might not know is that 2025 is the Jubilee of Hope at the Vatican, and presumably wherever else you can find God.
I love to celebrate hope. It's one of my favourite things.
Yeah, they're celebrating that holy year by doing all kinds of religious shit. But to properly enthuse everyone, they've paid a design firm to come up with a mascot, and I quote, "inspired by the church's desire to live even within the pop culture so beloved by our youth."
Fuck yeah, Vatican Funko Pops, get in.
That is basically exactly what it is, yes.
This is so good, I might actually call it a New Hope.
Yeah. So the mascot they've revealed...
Does that mean they've graduated from like holy relics to, landfill
holy tat?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
basically.
Tat.
So the mascot they've come up with is Luce. And to quote Vatican News, Luce, the Vatican's mascot for the event, ties both the Jubilee and the Expo together. She is a pilgrim doll made in the pop culture style and carries many of the symbols of a pilgrim, a missionary cross, staff, and boots dirty from walking.
It was the pop culture style at the time.
Do you reckon this is like a financial necessity after that holy water exploit got out?
Hey, wait, can we park the podcast and talk about the holy water exploit?
You're not aware of the holy water exploit?
I would like to know more.
Yeah, I'm pressing the button furiously.
I may be misremembering this slightly, but I think it roughly goes that if you acquire a quantity of holy water, say you get like a litre of holy water from your nearest purveyor of holy water, you can take that.
I drop ship it. Yeah,
you can take that home. You can then mix it with a smaller amount of water, and it will then all be holy water.
Yeah.
So you can get
have infinite holy water.
So cool.
infinite holy water if you know set your various containers up correctly.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, and
that's
just to be absolutely clear, Luce is spelled Luce, which is Latin for light, I believe. Hence, you know, it's short. It's probably short for Lucifer, which seems like a weird choice.
No, it's Lux is light, but Luce is it's some version of light. I'm guessing. Yeah.
So what they've come up with is a blue-haired anime girl in a yellow coat.
I can't believe the Pope made anime real.
Yeah.
Hatsune
I
Christo.
assume-
Elon Musk in the fucking dirt.
I assume guys all over Twitter are tearing their hair out, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, those like Catholic converts you see all over Twitter.
Oh,
I
yeah,
imagine they're going fucking mental about about the blue hair, because that's woke, as everyone knows.
That's fucking so mid though. Like, you know, I don't care about this whole, you know, multiplication of the loaves and turning the water into wine, but, you know, how fucking excellent is this? Like, you know, just
Ah, well,
this is the true miracle of Christ.
Just you wait, because there's more. Luce is only one part of the Luce and Friends range.
Excellent.
There's a picture there in the show notes, but for the listeners, they've basically, like, Luce has 3 friends who are just palette swaps. They have different coloured coats. Although one of them does have little, like, a bear in a pocket and little, like, ears on the hood of a coat. But they are all carrying the same. They are all carrying the same stick. Girl. Yeah. Well, I assume it's meant to be bear ears because she's got a bear in her pocket, but they've all got the same muddy boots, the same coat, stick, necklace.
I think it'd be quite fucked up if, like, an anthropomorphized bear was carrying around a little bear. Like, how fucked up would it be if you just carried around a little monkey everywhere?
I think, Alistair, you may be missing the son. The point that's the father and the son, and they are actually the same thing.
Yeah,
I think you'll find, Alistair, as well, that Michael Jackson did that for some time, and he was the most normal guy that ever lived.
Yeah, there's also a dove, because, you know, peace.
Yeah,
a little
Holy
cherub
Spirit
in a baseball
so
hat, and a little dog in a baseball hat as well for some reason.
It's got a little bandana on.
Jesus loves baseball.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, they're all available.
MLG is short for Major League Jesus.
They're all available presumably soon to buy. They're designed by Tokidoki, which is apparently a Italian weeb company.
I thought that was like some kind of book club.
Yeah. The thing is, though,
it's
like,
Flanderization.
This is all, you know, for the church to reach out to the kids, which frankly the Catholic Church should not be doing. I think frankly they've pissed on their chips as far as that's concerned over the years. But the other thing is, like, I mean, I put in the show notes there will be art of these fuckers doing knife crimes and meth by the time this episode is out. But I am happy to report, if you go to loosefriends.fun on the internet, you will find out that some enterprising fucking, like, scammer has already created a fucking Bitcoin for these things and an AI chatbot where you can talk to Luce directly.
Oh, Jesus Christ! All right,
how has someone managed to speedrun do more damage to children with a Catholic Church outreach program than the Catholic Church?
Well, such things are all possible under the light of heaven, I guess.
For fuck's sake.
Honestly, like, if this doesn't speed up the return of, you know, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, to see that, you know, this little anime, you know, person who's just created, I don't know, to do some Jesus for kids, is like immediately been turned into a fucking, you know, that the religion and the moneylenders are once again the same fucking thing.
I mean, if Jesus was going to drive the fucking crypto guys out of the temple, that would be beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so, like, you know what I mean, look forward to getting one of those for Christmas from your elderly relatives.
What, the coin or the actual?
I mean,
you know,
it depends on the relatives, I would guess.
yeah.
Yeah, Beanie
On the
Babies
other hand,
for adult Catholic converts.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you're listening and if you're my relative but also not, if you want to send me one of these, I would quite like a loose Funko Pop because that'd be kind of cool. But a real one. I don't want like a fucking Bitcoin one. I want like, you know, with a little Vatican certificate attached.
Yes,
I
something
think
to
this
put
is
next to the Prince Andrew plate.
Yeah.
Small sample of holy water.
Yeah. I think this is actually quite, you know, delightful and you know, friendly. And I approve of loose and friends. I think this is, you know, yeah.
Right, well, we've got one more nugget tonight, which I have deliberately concealed from my co-hosts because it's good. And I've in the process of reading up on it, I discovered a guy.
Oh.
Excellent.
So,
But we never do guys on this podcast.
speak for yourself.
Right, go on then.
Yeah, right. So, 4 sovereign citizens have been sent.
God.
Yes. Every sentence that starts like this is good.
Yeah, they've been sentenced for storming Essex Coroner's Court in April of 2023.
Oh, I
They were
briefly heard about this, but I don't really know.
they
the
were
specifics.
convicted of conspiracy to kidnap and conspiracy to false imprisonment after turning up to the court with handcuffs and a warrant. And bear in mind the two crimes they were convicted for conspiracy of were kidnap and false imprisonment, right? And then ask yourself what's missing when I read out the rest of this sentence. Turning up to the court with handcuffs and a warrant for the execution of a senior coroner.
They turned up.
The sentence isn't finished yet. Who they alleged was a detrimental necromancer.
I like how they specified detrimental.
Yes.
Yeah. Does that imply the existence of, you know, beneficial necromancers?
Yeah. Some necromancers are very nice.
Yeah. So,
Is that you, Jon Stewart?
to lower the mood for a second, they were motivated by turf shit, because of course they were. But the BBC did not mention that, describing them only as anti-establishment. But yeah, they had like,
of course,
they had pages of manifesto about how the guy they wanted to execute was like doing mutilations on people by like changing their gender or something. I think they fundamentally misunderstand what a fucking coroner does. Like,
yeah.
But anyway, but the group
I will say, look, like if I die and we're still doing this, if I die and we're still doing this podcast, you may put big naturals on me before the funeral. You can just ask the coroner that. I'm fine.
It's
with
what
it.
he would have wanted.
Rather than helping these guys see the light of Islam on their deathbeds.
Yeah.
It's just that, but transition is so good.
Yeah, the group in question was led by Mark Christopher, who like spells his name with a colon in the middle because
What?
well, I'll get to that in a minute. But
Was he
has
a big fan of fucking SMTV?
He has a bunch of videos on YouTube, which I ended up watching a few of, and they are fucking amazing. He explains that the law isn't real, and therefore cannot hurt you, because the law, as described by the Parliament of Westminster, is actually just them adhering to the corporate policies of the City of London.
Yes.
I mean,
So if you're
yes,
not
but also
within,
no.
if you're not within the City of London's jurisdiction, then you know what I mean. You can't be given a ticket for parking.
Excellent.
He has a video just
so
on parking
good.
tickets where he explains that as long as you don't get out of the car, you can park wherever you want, because it isn't parking unless you get out of the car. It's just stopping otherwise. So you can stop on the double yellow lines in front of a fire hydrant outside a burning school to pick your dad up who's just set the school on fire. And there's nothing the law can do because you haven't parked, you've stopped. Just explain that to the fucking police as they're dragging you out of the vehicle. But yeah, the group called themselves the Federal Postal Court. And Mark Christopher, they turned up in Mark Christopher's car, which had his own like seal painted onto the door to make it look official.
Excellent.
And
I love it when they bring their own branded gear.
The seal explained that he was High Judge Mark Christopher, and you know there's three people. The three people that were with him were a guy and who was a deputy, and then a married couple.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
They were a married couple, one of whom was a deputy, and the other one was a postal inspector. The woman who was
actually,
or
were these?
No, that was her title. That was her title within the group. She was actually a former Met special constable.
A special constable.
Yeah, but they got into watching his videos over lockdown, and then decided like they should hit the guy up and see if he wanted to form a cult.
I defy anyone after hearing this to tell me that lockdown was bad. Actually,
yeah. So anyway, they called themselves the Federal Postal Court, and certain people who were clued into, conspiracy theorists might recognize that name because it was also the name of an American group founded on the 21st of December 2012, which, as you might remember, was the day that the world ended due to the Mayan prophecy.
Oh, yeah.
By a conspiracy theorist, David Wynn Miller, who is a friend of Mark Christopher, or was a friend of Mark Christopher, and they appeared in several YouTube videos together explaining about how, you know, if you just use the right language, which we're very close to explaining in a second, you can get away with anything in a courtroom, because David Wynn Miller was the inventor of quantum grammar.
Yes!
Wait, does that mean he's like really in favour of or adamantly opposed to the interrobang?
I would describe quantum grammar as a form of gibberish used extensively by sovereign citizens everywhere.
We are so far beyond like the fringe on the flag now. This is just like you have occult grammar.
I love that he founded the Federal Postal Court on the 21st of December 2012, because that to me suggests that his previous grift was Mayan doomsday prophecies, and when they didn't come through, he was like, fuck it, rebrand.
Well, if Facebook can pivot to video, this guy can pivot to whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which federal government does he answer to?
None. He runs the United States, or ran the United States. The Federal Postal Court was apparently grammar. The Federal Postal Court was apparently set up by Ben Franklin and then suspended for the War of Independence. And so all this guy did was bring it back. He's a return guy.
How does he feel about the January 6th things?
He didn't live to see it, tragically.
Oh man.
But yeah, his teachings allegedly inspired Jaron Lee Loughner, the man who shot 19 people, killing 6 and wounding 13, including U.S. Representative Gabby Giffords, outside a Safeway in Tucson, Arizona in 2011. Miller's response to that was to say that he didn't condone the violence, but he did agree with like the writings that the guy had uploaded to the internet before he did that.
Fucking hell. Yeah, your manifesto, yeah.
I don't like it, but I'll have to go along with it.
Yeah. Anyway, who wants to hear David Wynn Miller's origin story as told by David Wynn Miller?
I have never wanted anything more about fucking life.
Will you be using any quantum grammar?
No, we will learn what quantum grammar is though by the end of this.
Oh, okay.
So,
yes.
He claimed that at the age of 25, he died for half an hour when an inept Korean surgeon who had never operated on a human being before removed both his kidneys and his adrenal glands. But
Why was he there?
But that is not explained, Rob. Please do not ask. His heart spontaneously restarted while outside of his body during his autopsy. And the coroner presumably just put it back.
We'll come
so
back
many
to
questions.
Red Letter Media presents Best of the Worst.
Following this,
Fuck.
he said his IQ became 200, his endorphin levels were 6 times normal, and he stopped aging.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's so
Not
good.
aging.
He's still aging.
Who wants to hear an incredible paragraph from Wikipedia that follows that?
Yes.
Miller's activism stemmed from his own frustrating experience with the legal system.
But
No
not the
shit.
medical
Is it-
system.
During the 19...
Stop for a second. Can I glance into my orb and say this has something to do with divorce court?
You're way ahead of me. During the 1980s, he went through a divorce proceeding and appeared pro se, which is for non-legal scholars in the audience when you represent yourself, which,
Yes.
as any lawyer will tell you, is always a good idea.
It's the best
appeared-
idea. That's
He appeared pro se in numerous child custody hearings.
Oh no.
Brackets 67 according to his
Oh
website.
my god.
Fucking
Close
hell.
brackets. Losing every time.
no shit.
Having become convinced that the judiciary was rigged and governed by linguistic manoeuvring, and that the English language had been deliberately modified to enslave the people, he decided to override the system by developing his own theory of language to be used as a form of legalese. Hence,
Yes.
quantum grammar.
Oh, I love it.
Which, as far as I can tell, it just means you put you write your first name, second name. That's like, you know what I mean. That is how he writes his name and how Mark Christopher writes his name, and presumably all of their adherents. But yeah,
I love
anyway,
to change my name to Mark Drop Tables.
yeah. So anyway, who's up for in lieu of comment or commentariat? Who wants a David Wynn Miller fact quiz?
I would love.
Yes.
I would love to know every
Desperately,
detail about
I-
this completely insane person.
Right. Well,
I
I'm
never
gonna,
want this
I'm gonna
episode to
read
end.
out. I'm going to read out a series of facts, so you have to decide, is each of these facts something noted superhuman David Wynn Miller claimed about himself before his death from 6 heart attacks, or not? He slept only 3 hours a day, and at one point didn't sleep at all for a period of 8 consecutive years.
This sounds.
No, that's Kim Il-sung.
This has the exact. This already has the exact cadence of like something a 12-year-old kid would tell all their friends at school about their dad or something.
Yeah. This is
Yes. So what do we reckon? Was that Miller or not?
that's
I'm
not Miller.
I'm just saying yes.
That's Kim Il-sung.
I think
And
he'd
that was-
never admit to sleeping.
That was actually something he claimed about himself.
Yes.
Oh.
Right. He had an IQ of 190.
No, because he claimed he had one of 200. You just mentioned it.
Yeah.
Well remembered, yes, that was Batman that has an IQ of 190. Miller did, in fact, claim to have an IQ of 200.
He could outwit Batman. Shit.
He was a 92nd degree Mason.
How many
What?
degrees?
92nd?
92.
96. That's so good.
He's over a quarter of the way there.
I'm going to say no
Yeah,
because I
why
don't know
not?
what that is.
I'm going to say this is a true statement, or this is something that he's
It
claimed.
is. That is something he said about himself, yeah.
Excellent.
He had 7 PhDs.
Yes, absolutely.
No, that's Francis Wheatman.
Also, no, that's that guy we talked about a long time ago who claimed he invented Bitcoin.
Actually, it may be Francis Wheatman and or the inventor of Bitcoin, but no, I was thinking of Bruce Banner. Miller only claimed to have 3 PhDs. So
Oh man,
smarter than Batman, but less studious than the Hulk.
M:D, M:D, M:D.
You know, super geniuses these days, they just don't apply themselves anymore. It's sad to see.
He built a perpetual motion machine.
oh yes,
100%,
nailed
yes.
on, nailed
100%.
on.
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
guaranteed.
Yeah. He was a specialist in 115 fields, including history, genealogy, masonry, biotechnology, metallurgy, polymer technology, heat treating, nuclear physics, string theory, and quantum physics.
I'm gonna say no. It's gonna be like some other number.
Because is this the biography of that guy from the Fantastic Four?
No, that was something he claimed.
We're too little faith in him now, and now we're gonna suffer consequences.
He utilized his photographic memory to master 127 styles of martial art.
Incredible.
That
scenes.
is
That's
like
him.
that's almost like the Matrix.
That one feels like it's... No, that's not him. It's too obvious to be him.
Yeah. By the time you need to know the cosmic grammar, you simply won't have to. That's not him.
I'm gonna say not him.
No, that was Batman again. He refused to ever take painkillers, instead relying on his immense willpower to block out the pain.
Yeah.
100% yes.
Yep.
Yes. Or is that Batman again?
That was the Punisher. He could read 400 words a second.
That's him. That's.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say yeah.
Yeah, that was. He was responsible for the collapse of the United States mortgage industry.
Well, it's not him. That was somebody else or other persons. But maybe he would have claimed that?
I think that's him.
No, that wasn't him.
It was.
Ah.
He was once an ambassador to Iran.
I'm gonna say no because I don't feel like this guy believes like ambassadors and like
are real.
Yeah, basically doesn't believe in the ambassadorial role.
No, it doesn't say who or what he was an ambassador for.
Yeah, that's what.
He could have went there
for the Cosmic Empire
and said he was an ambassador for himself.
I feel like he wouldn't even recognise the state of Iran.
I mean, I reckon he's more likely to recognise it than he is the US or whatever. So, yeah, go for it. Fuck it. That was.
Are
him.
you telling me that you think it's more likely this guy isn't an Islamophobe?
I'm not saying he wasn't an Islamophobe, but I'm going to say he roughly understands the idea of a nation founded genuinely like on God or whatever, as opposed to whatever bastard state we live in.
I'm going to say it's him.
No, that was actually the Joker. Miller did claim to be an ambassador to China, though.
Oh, okay.
He owned the patent on the US flag.
That's him. Please tell me that's
him. I don't
good.
think this guy recognises patent law.
No, I'm going to say does. Yeah, that was him.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. He was abducted by aliens at age 8.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
100% guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah, that was him.
The one true thing that actually did happen.
He shut down the entire US federal government 23 times.
No, that's some fucking superhero again. Or
Is that
villain or
not
whatever.
It's Bane.
Oh, what's the fucking that hacker TV show I forget the name of? Mr. Robot. Is he Mr. Robot? Is that Mr. Robot rather?
No, that was him. Right, last one.
Okay.
He had the power to control the molecules in his body, giving him the ability to shapeshift.
No, this is
No,
someone
that's
else.
Constable Odo.
No, I'm saying this is somebody else.
This is somebody else. Yeah, this is some.
Yeah, that
some
was
fucking.
That was the
Is
Martian
this Camille's
Manhunter.
son?
That was the Martian Manhunter. Miller only claimed to have absolute power over all things on the planet.
But like, isn't
Kessler Syndrome, Dr. Manhattan.
the set theory here is annoying me. Surely his own molecules are a subset of the entire planet.
Oh.
Well,
King.
there you go. I hope you all enjoyed learning about that guy, because I did.
Well,
yeah, good
all I'm
God.
going to say is we are pivoting this podcast in a radical new direction as of next week because I'm convinced.
No. We're not becoming a guyology podcast. It's no.
No, we're just going to follow this guy. We're all going to become sub postmasters.
Oh, dear.
New Patreon tier just dropped. Rearrange your molecules at the post office with magic grammar.
Oh, okay. Well, you can get more episodes, 2 bonus episodes a month, in fact, at patreon.com/praxiscast. £5 per month. It will also get you access to the Discord, and we'll post bonus clips in there too that you won't even get on the Patreon feed. So you should join the Discord for that.
Yeah, you should really join the Discord.
Other
It's actually
unstated reasons.
Yeah,
it's a delightful
hear
place.
Rob fuck up the introduction in 600 different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Per week.
And soon we'll open the Mystical Grammar channel, and you're gonna have to buy a 5-dimensional keyboard that only we sell.
Yeah, half the keys are just a colon.
Yeah.
But if you press it, it comes out in places where you don't think it should be.
Also, Twitch streams are things that sometimes happen. That's twitch.tv/praxiscast. Might be live on a Thursday sometimes. I don't know. Check it out and see.
Yeah.
And merch is also available at praxiscast.tmail.com. Get thee a t-shirt, get thee a hoodie, whatever you want to do. It's there.
And I
Also, it's getting
believe
up to Christmas,
this weekend it's free shipping.
Ooh, check us actually announcing that on time.
Yeah.
I can't wait
so
for
get
this
your,
episode to be released on Monday morning. Okay.
Yeah. Start your Christmas shopping
all right.
early.
That's all we've got. So, bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Right. Bye-bye.